Hi and welcome to this Tales from the Hut and Hangar Aircraft Rarities episode about the one-off Vickers Type 212 Velox airliner. It had an interesting but very tragic story. The Vickers Velox was based on the Vickers Velour, designed to carry mail and urgent cargo, built on a single engine and twin engine variants. So the background of this aircraft was the prototype Velour, the first of two single engine versions, was first flown on the 17th of May 1928. The twin engine sole Vickers Velour 3 Golf Alpha Alpha Sierra Whiskey made its first flight at Brooklands on the 24th of June 1930. A seaplane version of this was also proposed, and you can see in this advert on the left there is also a three-engine version Velour in their future plans. The Vickers Type 212 Velox was modified from a twin-engine Vickers Velour that was already under construction at Vickers Armstrong. The main development was to enlarge the fuselage to carry passengers as well as freight. The wings and tail unit of the Vickers Velour were retained, but the engines were changed to a pair of supercharged Bristol Pegasus IM3 engines. The cabin could accommodate 10 passengers or 3,000 pounds of freight, with 2 flight crew and a cabin steward. The Velox had a comfortably plush-equipped cabin with soundproofing, ventilation and a galley toilet. It was also fitted with large starboard freight doors. The aircraft features included inertial engine starters, brakes, electrical instrumentation and an experimental de-icing system on the wing and tail surfaces. Its power plant was two 600 horsepower Bristol Pegasus IM3 engines. It had a span of 76 foot. Its maximum weight was 13,500 pounds and its maximum speed was 157 miles per hour at 6,500 foot. Its cruising speed was 130 miles per hour and finally its range was 690 miles. At Brooklands on the 23rd of January 1934, the prototype Golf Alpha Bravo Kilo Yankee was first flown by Mutt Summers. A second flight later in the day was undertaken to test its maximum design load. On the 25th of January 1934, it was flown to the Aeroplane and Armament Experimental Establishment to conduct civil type tests. The only change incorporated after the type trials was to fit 4-bladed propellers to reduce vibration when in the cruise. Then the aircraft was sold to Imperial Airways in May 1936, but it was only used by the airline to carry night freight. This restriction was all down to the aircraft's low cruising speed. Vickers' view, however, was the reduction in performance was all down to the weight and drag of additional equipment fitted by the airline. So 2 more powerful Bristol Pegasus engines were fitted with a view to improving performance. But sadly, at 2 a.m. on the 10th of August 1936 near Croydon Airport, Surrey, Golf Alpha Bravo Kilo Yankee crashed, striking 2 houses.
When an airliner crashed into a garden near Croydon in the early hours of the morning, 4 lives were lost, and as the machine burst into flames, 3 houses were set on fire.
The following report is from Flight Magazine on the 17th of December 1936. On August 10, 1936, Imperial Airways Vickers Velox crashed 3 minutes after taking off from Croydon on a night flight to Paris, and the Accident Department of the Air Ministry has now, 4 months later, published the findings of the inspector. The machine carrying its crew and their personal belongings and some sand ballast took off normally. It flew straight in a southwesterly direction until it was well outside the aerodrome boundary. It had climbed to an estimated height by the officials on duty in the control tower to be in the neighbourhood of 500 feet, when it began to turn to the left in the direction of the regular aerodrome circuit and towards its course to Paris. Shortly afterwards, the turn was changed to one to the right, through about 180 degrees, the machine losing height as it did so, and ultimately crashing amongst houses about a quarter of a mile outside the western boundary. An outbreak of fire occurred and the 4 occupants lost their lives. The machine was completely destroyed. As a result of his investigation, the Inspector of Accidents come to the following conclusions. That the accident was due to sudden loss of engine power occurring in circumstances that were unfavourable and for many even rendered impossible the carrying out of a successful forced landing. That the cause of sudden loss of engine power cannot be determined, but the evidence is suggestive of the starboard engine of either being the first or the only engine to fail, and that the most likely cause was either some obstruction of the fuel system or incorrect setting of the fuel controls. No, a new type of engine was incidentally being used. The 4 fatalities were named as Pilot, Reserve of Air Force Flying Officer Captain Lionel Francis Hastings Orr, aged 26. Second pilot, Captain Stanley Miles Ferguson, aged 32. Wireless operator Robert Arbuckle, aged 22. And wireless operator Jeffrey Dennis Deere, aged 21. And the last bit of the report was engine failure was blamed for the crash used the highly regarded Bristol Pegasus 9-cylinder radial engines. These were used on the ferry Swordfish torpedo carrier in World War II. Thousands of these engines were produced and are still in operation. So that was a sad end to this one-off aircraft. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment or share this video. And hello to any new people, and hello again to returners. And thanks for that, and goodbye.